Hello, welcome to the GTG video blog. My name's Eddie. Today I'm talking to you from a very cold room, hence the reason I've got a big woolly grey hat on. The reason I'm going to be talking to you is the new structure deck from Yugioh. It's Dragons Collide. Dragons have always been a big favourite for most of the Yu-Gi-Oh players, if not everybody on the whole planet. So to see the Dragons come with their own structure deck that looks quite pokey, that brings them some good new cards and some old favourites as well, is a very good thing indeed. So let me tell you about what you're going to get in this structure deck. I'm going to start with the big boys, really. First off, this chap, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. There you go. Now this guy is a 2,800 attack monster. He's a 2,400 defense. And what's special about him is how easy it is to get into the table. All you've got to do is get one dragon down, bang, you're in play. Naturally, it's nice if you've got some protection for the big guy via traps or maybe some bailers in your hand, etc. But if you're not familiar with Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, let me tell you what he does. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one face-up dragon-type monster you control. So you can drop any dragon onto the table as your first turn. Bang, banish that monster. Out comes Red Eyes. And once Red Eyes is on the table, he can do this. Once per turn, you can special summon one dragon-type monster from your hand or graveyard, except Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So let's say you've not managed to fill your graveyard just yet. It's your first turn. You've not pulled any shenanigans. You've got a few guys in your hand. It might be Blue Eyes himself. You want to get him on the table? Not a problem. Use Red Eyes' effect to bring him to the table. Wow, that's some serious beating. The only thing you don't have there is protection from effects. So let's look at what else we've got to get. During the course of play of this deck, you're going to find yourself manipulating the graveyard's monsters quite considerably. You're going to be banishing monsters, you're going to be bringing monsters back from the banished area, and that certainly allows for play of this guy, which is again a welcome reprint. It doesn't look very sexy as common, I'm afraid, but Dark Armed Dragon, again, if you're unfamiliar with Dark Armed Dragon, let me tell you what he does. It cannot be normal summoned or set, so you've got a very specific way to get this guy out. Must be special summoned from your hand by having exactly 3 dark monsters in your graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways, so very specific. You can banish one dark monster from your graveyard to target one card on the field, destroy that target. So initially, when Dad, as he's known, hits the table, you must have 3 dark monsters in the graveyard. You can then effectively hit 3 guys, 3 cards on the table, one at a time using his effect. 2,800 attack, 1,000 defense. So Dark Armed Dragon definitely going to be back with a vengeance. So what do you got there? 3 big hitters already. It isn't all about the huge dragons though. Some of the little guys help these to do their job. Let's just work through a few of these. White Stone of Legend is a dragon tuner, so you've got lots of options. I'm not going to talk about XYZ or tuners for this deck, we're just going to look at the deck itself. But this is a tuner monster, it's level 1. When this card is sent to the graveyard, add 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. And note, sent to the graveyard. So look for all the effects that are just going to toss this into the graveyard and allow you to go and fetch a whopping big dragon to your hand. Okay, so that's going to be used in a lot of combinations. There's too many for me to list in this video, but trust me, that will see some work. Then you have some of the new guys. These are the foils from the structure deck, and they're just so good. I'm going to start with the Mac Daddy, like Pulsar Dragon. So there you go, that's the one you're going to sort of rip out straight away and have a good goosey out. Like Pulsar Dragon, level 6. 2,500 attack, 1,500 defense. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. You can special summon this card from your graveyard by sending one light and one dark monster from your hand to the graveyard. So it works with a similar mechanic to a card called Dark Simorg, which I use in my Dragoonity deck, Assault Dragoonities. I really like the way it works. It's quite consistent, and this certainly has the option to do that. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one level 5 or higher dark dragon type monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. They just keep coming back. Absolutely excellent. Dark Flare Dragon. I said smaller guys, but so far we've seen a 2/5 and now a 2/4, 2,400 attack, level 5. You can special summon this card from your hand by banishing one light and one dark monster from your graveyard. And once per turn, you can send one dragon type monster from your hand and one dragon type monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then target one monster in either graveyard, banish that target. So again, lots of manipulation coming through from Dark Flare. Eclipse Wyvern. Okay, we drop down a little bit now to a 1600 attack creature. Level 4, if this card is sent to the graveyard, banish one level 7 or higher light or dark dragon type monster from your deck. If this card in the graveyard is banished, you can add the monster banished by this effect to your hand. So it's kind of a long way around getting banished cards moving and also putting these exactly where you want them to be. So there's a very cyclical effect in this deck, and you're constantly moving the cards around from hand to graveyard to banish, from hand to graveyard to banish, and of course picking out the juicy ones from the deck to play as and when you require. So that's just the dragon monsters. Let's talk about some of the support monsters that are in there. Herald of Creation is an interesting one, level 4. Herald of Creation, once per turn you can discard one card, then target a level 7 or higher monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. So you've got something in the graveyard, you're not going to be able to summon it, special summon it from there. You want to play it from your hand. This could be Dark Arm Dragon, for example. You can use this to ditch a card that you want in the graveyard to bring back a card that you don't want in the graveyard. It's that simple. 1800 attack is a fair old beat stick to drop down. You can just keep that there. Odds on it may survive a turn. It'll certainly do something on the turn that it lands. So good card. Chaos Sorcerer. Why not? Absolutely, why not? And if not Chaos Sorcerer, then why not BLS? You know, Blackluster Soldier is going to drop in nicely. Dark and Light, this is what it's all about. It's a Chaos Dragon deck, essentially. He would fit in just nice, and I do think that BLS has got a shout there as well. I'm just going to run through the other cards quite quickly that are in the structure deck, because it's really about telling you what's in there. Mystic Tomato, which I just wanted to drop, is a fantastic Dark Searcher. You know, does what it says on the tin. It goes away and gets something for you, and it's a dark. Red Eyes Beachik is just part of the, not one I'd use, but part of the cycle. Kai, my man, I'm positive is just in there for giggle effect, but he says, you know, I like Blue Eyes, so I'll go get him. Flutus Summoning, I won't do the spells and traps just yet. Snipe Hunter is included if you wish to card. It's all about discarding cards to the graveyard and then doing a random shot at taking something out. It's quite effective. Level 4, not particularly powerful, but you can poke out cards that are proving difficult to move. Ryko Light Swan, so there's one of your light monsters. It'll also ditch things into the graveyard for you, and it's a one-shot kill. So always popular as Ryko, and a welcome reprint too. Book of Moon, well, why not have a staple? We're going to do spells. Axe Dragonaut, if this card attacks, change it to event position. Not something I put in, but there you go. So just a big hitter, really. You can place it down first in just to scare people off, and it is dark. Jane Lightsworn Paladin. Now this is really to work with Lila, which I'll come on to in a second. And this guy, I don't think there's enough Lightsworn in this deck to make it work with these guys. This is something you would have to build in yourself if you want to make it go off. But you do get the welcome return of Lila. There you go. So reprint of Lila. That's always good. If you don't know what Lila does, she's a 1700 beta level 4. She'll mill cards at the end of the turn, but you can move her to defense position to destroy a back row card. Not bad. Jane is 1800. Now he gains 300 on attack. Again, he's just in there to try and make this Lightsworn cycle move, but not for me, not something I'd leave in there. And then Dragoneth is a really interesting card that has potential to go ballistic, but it's a very tough one to play in a mixed deck, and I don't think it should be there. Lord of V is just a Dragon Protector. If you think your Dragon player is going to get messed up, get this guy on the table. It'll keep him safe. They got to deal with him before they deal with the dragon. Prime Material Dragon. I like this one. You've got to watch out it doesn't hit you in the face, but Prime Material Dragon is nice. If you've not seen this, this is a reprint in common. Again, the foil looks so much better. Any effect that would inflict damage to a player increases their life points by the same amount instead. So unless you happen to come up against a burn deck, that isn't going to get used. It's its second part that's important. During either player's turn, when a spell trap effect, or effect monster's effect is activated that would destroy a monster or monsters on the field, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and destroy it. So that can be very, very, very useful. We've got Red Eyes Big Dragon, again part of the cycle. They're using things like monster gates and reasoning in this, but we'll come across those in a second. And then Vice Dragon, again, probably not one to play. I think it's just too hit and miss as to whether it's useful or not. And Summoner Monk. Personally, I don't know. I'd be ripping most of the spells out of this deck that are in there, so I don't think Summoner Monk's going to be useful. It's good to have him back. I mean, a reprint of Summoner Monk is great, but I don't really think I'd use him in this deck. So there you go. Summoner Monk is in there. So spells and traps. Well, let's look at the spells. Given that there are quite a few of them, mostly probably just to make some use out of Summoner Monk. Spells really are the sort of manipulation side of this deck. So Card Trader sits on your back row and allows you to swap cards in and out. It's going to get MST'd off the table, so I don't know. Would you risk it? Magical Stone Excavation is, however, really useful. Discard 2 cards, then target 1 spell card in your graveyard and add to your hand. Yeah, in a spell-heavy deck, this is really useful. DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation. Discard 1 card, then target 1 of your banished monsters, special summon it in face attack position, and equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy the monster. Again, you could use that, but there's better. Wingbeat of a Giant Dragon. Return 1 face-up level 5 or higher dragon-type monster you control to the hand, and destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. So as long as they ain't packing Starlight Road, that could be quite useful. Especially if you do want to bring a monster back. That said, if getting these back to your hand from the field isn't what you're about, just Heavy Storm. Chaos Zone. I don't actually know what this is. Each time a monster is banished, place 1 Chaos counter on this card for each of those monsters, and once per turn. No, don't even play it. Just it'll disappear. As soon as you think it's going to go off, then it'll die. It's too much destruction. Flute of Summoning Dragon. Special summon 2 dragon-type monsters from your hand. There must be a face-up Lord of D on the field to activate and resolve this effect. With 1 Lord of D in the deck, this is a waste of time. So you need to either increase your Lords of D, which is quite bold, or just toss this card. Inferno Fire Blast. Target 1 face-up Red Eyes Big Dragon you control. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to... forget it. No. Monster Gate's good. Tribute 1 monster, reveal cards on top of your deck until you reveal a monster that can be normal summoned, and special summon it. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. And this is where things like Alexandrite Dragon are going to be useful alongside your vanillas that you're going to drop in here. Of course, you've got to pack some serious vanilla action to make this worth doing. Burst Stream of Destruction. If you control a face-up Blue Eyes White Dragon, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Blue Eyes White Dragon cannot attack the turn you activate this card. Waste of time. There you go. Reasoning. This is fun. This is a fun card. This does have quite a diversity of levels in the deck, and any deck where you've got 2s and 3s and 7s and 5s in there in a good mix, Reason is great fun because it almost ensures a special summon, a free special summon, and will dump cards into the graveyard. But that's the important thing. If you don't want cards in your graveyard, then this is bad. You do want cards in the graveyard, this is good. Okay, so Reasoning. And then finally, in the spells, Charge of the Light Brigade. Again, it's going to be used really only if you're going to be doing heavy Ryko plays where you're actually going to be using Light Sworn Engine, which I don't think you would, but there you go. It's a nice reprint. It's good to have it back. Easier to get, but not a great deal. And then there's very few traps, but I think most decks these days are running Trap Lightness, unless they're quite specific things like Burn. Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Target 1 face-up monster you control. Banish that target till the end of the phase. I don't know about in this particular deck, but this is banishing monsters out of the way is getting quite interesting. I'm just putting together a wind-up deck, and I'm beginning to see the benefits of Rabbit just banishing itself, making its effect go off for the factories is really good. Dragon's Rebirth. Target one face-up dragon monster you control. Banish that target. Special summon one dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard. So it's good. We like that one. Escape from the Dark Dimension. Remember this one coming out. Target one of your banished dark monsters. Special summon that target when this card leaves play. Destroy. In other words, pull one of your banished cards back into play and kick ass with it until this disappears. Burst Breath. Tribute one dragon monster. Well, one dragon type monster. Destroy all face-up monsters on the field whose death is less than or equal to the tributed monster's attack. So yeah, it's got some options. I'm not entirely sure it's worthy of a place in a tier 1. And then an old favourite, Call of the Haunted. Bit dangerous in the days of Mystical Space Typhoon being at 3, but you know, Call can have its moment. And that's it, that's the deck. It plays a bit clunky, I found. There's some really nice cycle effects in it. We're going to do some videos this week. I've got some of our top guys, George, Jamie and Simon, are going to do some decks. You're going to see Inzectors, wind-ups, this structure deck, but we're going to modify it heavily. We're going to get some videos put together, hopefully on possibly Saturday if the store isn't absolutely ram-packed and we can get some time to do it. And then we'll post them up for the weekend and you'll see them. Thumbs up for the Dragon deck. I think it's really good. I think there's some really good reprints in there. The new dragons are very tasty and the chaos side of it looks very good. I recommend you get this. Go to your local friendly gaming store. Don't be a cheap bastard and buy these off these robbing slime balls online that want to destroy the hobby. Go to your stores wherever you live and see your friendly store guy and say, give me one of those fantastic structure decks. In fact, say, give me 2, because you'll need 2 if you're going to really build a proper deck with it. And we will thank you for supporting us. And meanwhile, just so guys locally know, we've just had the new Yu-Gi-Oh portfolios in. That's the 4-pocket and that's the 9-pocket. So that's got the big fancy pictures of last time. So they're in at the store. I think we've got about half a dozen of each just landed. And there's all the usual crap there as well. Thanks very much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this look at a structure deck rather than a booster opening, it's not quite as exciting, but you get to listen to me waffle on for about, let's see, nearly 20 minutes. So hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much. I'm Eddie. If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe and tell your friends. And if you haven't, well, you know, spankwire.com or something is your friend. Bye for now.